Hey now, beautiful people. I'm struggling today. I was struggling yesterday too. I'm finding finding myself struggling during the day. Like at night, things are so clear to me, and that I don't know if I'm pushing a lot of messages about, how your light shines in the dark. I think a lot of people who are spiritually awoken, spiritually awake, who are on spiritual journeys, who are searching for themselves in this new path. There's a reason why people turn to substance abuse and develop addictions. Now, I'm done so much research on this topic throughout my journey, as I suffered from a strong abuse of using substances, particularly cocaine, and I'm off that now. It's been a beautiful journey without it. Like, to feel back like I don't need that crush, like that because I was so like I developed it into that addiction developed for me in a way where it became my way of being productive. So it's like it actually started to serve a positive and productive purpose, which is even more dangerous than if you're using it to serve, stagnant and negative purposes. Because, if you're using it for productive and positive purposes, then that becomes something that, it's harder to let go of. And I think that's what the addiction is, right? When you're using it, we see people who fall into substance abuse use it and they see it as a positive thing because it's numbing a pain, right? So that for them, that's productive. For us, that's a productive thing, that because we're in pain, and this is numbing it. And when it stops, if you do enough, it stops numbing that pain, or the pain amplifies. The pain really amplifies when the more you do it and when you start to come off of it. And that's really where, in my experience at least, it was like, it wasn't while I was on it, it was while you're coming down off of it. That's the fear. And if you don't have more, that's when panic sets in, right? Now, once that stopped working for diminishing that pain, it was like, oh, I was working towards getting better. And I was doing less and less and less. I wasn't using it to escape situations. I was using it because, I would wake up in the morning and I couldn't pull myself to get off. I wasn't even sleeping in my bed at the time. I was sleeping on my couch, and I couldn't pull myself off the couch. And then before I knew it, the day was over, and I felt like I wasted the day. And then I might use it, I might seek it out for escaping again. But when I had it, I started using it to get up, right? So I was afraid to go to sleep because I wouldn't get up. And then if I had it, I could go to sleep now, which is like, for people who have experience with that substance, it's like that's the substance that keeps you awake. But I was able to do it, go to sleep, and feel comfortable to go to sleep, because I knew when I woke up, I could do it again, and I'll get up and I'll start doing what I need to do. So one of the biggest things I learned, and if you're suffering from substance abuse addiction, is, I think the leading researcher, the leading doctor, the leader, so, you know, the leader. We love the leader. We love the leader. Simpsons reference. Dr. Gabor Mate saved my life. His videos started coming up on my Instagram, or I think I was introduced to it, but from like a different, like maybe he was being interviewed, and then I started searching him more, and then he started coming up more and more. And his big thing is there's no such thing as addiction, right? And addiction, or in the sense of, you know, you're not supposed to treat the addiction. You're not, anybody who treats the addiction at its core, or not at its core, but the addiction on its face, is likely to fall back into it, because you shouldn't be asking why the addiction, you should be asking why the pain, right? We fall into substance abuse because we're trying to stifle a trauma, some deep-rooted trauma that we don't want to face. And because of that, we ourselves will even say, oh, it's an addiction, because we're trying to hide this trauma. We don't want to say it's not trauma, it's not an addiction, it's trauma, because then we're addressing the trauma that we're trying to stifle, right? So when you come to terms with that, it makes your whole journey a whole lot clearer. Now, right before I took off on my journey, that I in this beautiful, you know, window, wall-to-wall windows. Well, not really, there's spaces in between, but it's almost like wall-to-wall windows. This is my apartment. It's small, but it works for me, you know. But right before I left, right before I decided to leave my entire life behind, I decided to leave my entire life behind. I'll get into it more later. I learned something new about myself, because everybody's going at you. It's in your head. I know this new way of thinking about addictions and pain and trauma, but nobody wants to buy into that. They just want to tell you, I have a problem. You have a problem. You have a problem. You have a problem. And cocaine. And it's like, I can't focus on my problem. I can't focus on my trauma, because I keep being reminded of the fact that I'm doing cocaine and how that's a problem. Which anybody who has these problems, which, look, I'm reaching for this, I'm just gonna do it. Another one, all right? Anybody who suffers from this, if you smoke, for instance, this one's probably the biggest one. When someone is on your case about smoking, you gotta quit. You gotta quit. Especially when you're like, hey, I'll never forget this story. I felt so bad. This is from my ex-mother-in-law. It was my ex-mother-in-law, my ex-wife, and my ex-sister-in-law in a car. And my ex-mother-in-law hadn't been smoking for the entire week, and she was okay with me smoking in the car, and she asked me for one, and I gave her one. And my ex-wife and my ex-sister-in-law gave her shit. They just started giving her the gears, right? I thought you weren't smoking anymore. I thought you were in this. And she said, I hadn't smoked all week. She was saying all these good things. Like, she was a heavy smoker, and she had gone a whole week, and she just asked for one. And she was, criticized, and they went harder, and they're doing it out of love. I'm not putting anything against my ex or my ex-sister-in-law. They love their mother. That's why they care. They saw their mother making progress, and to them, they don't smoke. So it's easy for them to say, like, oh, you're doing, just stop. Right? But as a smoker, and anybody else who smokes, what is the first? Here's an intuition test, all right? I'm going to give you an option, right? I've been seeing these intuition tests. So even if you don't smoke, even if you don't feel like you have an addiction, which we all suffer from addictions, and I just realized the new one today, which is why I'm making this video. Even if we don't smoke, all right? Let's say this, all right? Put your mind, this is an intuition test, put your mind in the mind of a smoker who is trying to quit, and they're really putting an honest effort towards quitting, and they're getting criticized by someone about smoking. What do you think is going on in that? What do you think that, like, the action? I'm going to give you 3 options. What do you think the smoker who's being criticized is thinking? The smoker is thinking either A, I don't want to smoke anymore. It's not good for my health. B, shame on me. I'm a piece of shit. I want to smoke. Or C, I should have thought about this before. Although this is pretty good because I even fucked up on one of them. A or B, I fucked up on. So this is actually pretty good. Or C, that's why I'm trying to remember. I'm like, what should C be? Because I don't remember what I said now. It wasn't the order I wanted to put it in. Okay. A, this person's right. I need to quit smoking. It's good for my health. B, I'm a piece of shit. Fuck, I want to smoke. Like, I want a cigarette right now. Or C, see, I did it again. Or C, I'm a piece of shit and they're right. I'm going to stop smoking for that person. All right, intuition test. I'm thinking really hard about it right now because I had to, and you should know because I fumbled it twice. I fumbled it twice now, so it should be evident to you. If you chose B, you are correct. You are not the weakest link. You can stay. And if you are the weakest link, you could also stay. That's another thing I'll touch on that in a second. Because I saw The Weakest Link is back. That TV show. B. When a smoker is when a smoker is heavily criticized when they're trying to do the right thing and they're heavily criticized about their smoking habit, their immediate reaction, at least mine was, I'm a piece of shit, I want a cigarette. It's that, so our outside influence heavily, the people from the outside heavily influence how we look at ourselves and how we continue, because they make it seem so easy, right? They make it, and we don't want to admit how easy it is, so we want to keep smoking to prove that it's hard, right? I'm feeling like such a piece of shit from what you're saying to me because you're chastising me. It's coming from a place of love, but I'm not feeling that love. So I feel like a piece of shit now, and I want to be certain and show you that it's not as easy as you're saying it is, so I want a cigarette. Now, what I learned further, like near the end of before I lost all my Instagram accounts, I learned a very important lesson from Gaber Mate, where he opened up about one of his addictions, 2 of his addictions, work and compulsive shopping, right? Now, I narrowed it down. After I heard this, I was like, I went to a fucking whiteboard. I had whiteboards everywhere in my house because I just needed to get everything out of my brain was going wild. I needed to get everything out. And I decided, okay, I am going to write down all these bad habits that are actually addictions. So it's like what I would do to distract myself from using cocaine was I would what would I do? Oh, gambling. All right, online gambling, slot machines, go in the casino, which is another, when that started to lose its allure, when I started to feel like that was becoming a problem, then I turned to online like shopping and auctions. And it was like I was always just replacing the habit with a new bad habit, right? So I didn't realize that online shoppings and auctions were a form of addiction until Dr. Gabriel Mate mentioned that he had that with, like, he would go to record stores and he would just spend so much money on records and he couldn't stop, right? And then work is an obvious one. Like, so many people are addicted to work and they don't see it because it has a positive connotation attached to it. You know, you're providing, you're making a living. You don't realize that it is a problem, right? It is a coping mechanism. You are doing that and you are overworking yourself and you're overstressing yourself and you're like, and it's all a distraction for a bigger issue that you're not addressing, right? I also suffered from, you know, a porn sex addiction, right? These were all things because it was all what's the lesser evil right now, right? What is the lesser evil that is facing me? If I was doing too much substance abuse, then I would gamble. If I was doing too much gambling, I would lean to porn. If I was leaning too much on porn, I would go out and seek, you know, sexual experiences. If I was doing that too much, then I would start doing auctions. Then I started doing auctions too much, and it just became a fucking circle of bad habits, right? So, starting when I understood that, when I realized that, I was like, wow, you know. Another one is food, right? Like, big one. People think just because we eat, because naturally we eat, you know, everyone eats, that it's not an addiction. It's one of the worst ones. It's funny how the things that are legal in this world are the things that are killing more people daily. Like, sure, cocaine is illegal and abuse of cocaine is bad, but it is not as bad as alcohol abuse. You know, there was the recent epidemic of like fentanyl and what that did, but that was like outside resource. That's not cocaine. That's people adding to cocaine. Alcohol abuse is completely takes you out of your subconscious and conscious mind and just puts you in an unconscious state, right? Like, it's poison and it murders people. Like, there's a reason why, and I learned this from my ex, because she was working in a rehab, and when you are withdrawing from drugs, any drug, the way she put it to me was, when you're withdrawing from drugs, you feel like you're going to die, but you're not dying. You just feel like you're dying. And when you withdraw from alcohol, if you don't do it properly, you're gonna die. Like, you can't just quit drinking alcohol cold turkey. You will, you know, you can die from that. So what, like, how is that? And that's the legal one. That's the one that everyone has access to. That's the one that everyone could go and get and abuse, and there's no limit on the amount you can have in your house. Right? There's no limit on the amount you can buy at the store. Right? They don't say, oh no, the legal limit for purchasing is this. Right? I could go and I could fucking fill a cart full of booze in Ontario, it's the LCBO, it's the liquor store, and I could fill a cart full of booze and I could walk out that door, as long as I don't appear drunk in the store. Right? They can refuse to sell to you if you are drunk. But if I'm dead sober coming in and I'm fucking like all signs are pointing to a problem, they sell it to you because it doesn't matter. It's like, I could be having a party, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. They're gonna sell it to you. That's legal, right? It's wild, but it's realizing these addictions. And the reason why I started this is to let you know now, because I'm clean and sober right now, and I'm not counting days. I think counting days is a countdown to when you're going to start again. So I don't look at when. I don't want to say, oh, I'm 100 days sober, because that to me is just a ticking time bomb, right? I'm sober. Today I'm sober. Yesterday I was sober. Tomorrow I'll be sober. That's beautiful for me. That's what I need to know. I don't need to count. I am not my past, even if it's good. I'm not my past. I am who I am today. I am. All I know is one thing. Oh no, I guess it's three things. Look at that. I know three things. All right, and three things is that I am not who I was yesterday. I am who I am today, and I don't know who I'll be tomorrow. Those are three things that I've chosen to live by, right? And all I know is that me today, I'm sober, and what I want for me tomorrow is to continue to be sober. So that's where, when I start saying 100 days sober or this or that, oh, I've been clean for this or that, and that's when I start to think, you're kind of glamorizing it. By counting it, you're glamorizing that thing for you. You're giving it importance, right? And you're showing yourself, and you're telling yourself, and you're putting it out to the world how important it is to not be doing it, or how important that thing was to you in your life, so much that you're counting. And what that does is it opens up your brain to self-sabotage, right? I know exactly how I can self-sabotage myself in that way. If I'm like at 99 days sober, and now I know, I might self-sabotage myself. If I'm in a negative mindset, I might be like, oh, I don't want to make it to 100. I'm not worthy of 100. I'm going to fuck this up right now. I choose not to count. I choose not to give it that power. I choose myself today. And I encourage everyone to just choose themselves each and every day. It's hard, and I'm like I said with the smoking, it doesn't mean stopping. Stopping does not mean that's choosing yourself. I, for one thing, took a lot of shit when I was working my way down off cocaine. I took a lot of shit from people. And I'm like, but do you not realize, to me it was like, do you not really, and I until I got to the point where I love myself so much that I didn't give a fuck to explain it to anybody anymore. It's like, I don't need to explain to you. And I don't need to convince you. So I might explain it to somebody to see what, because that's my truth, and they're asking me a question, so I give them the truth. And depending on their reaction, it's like, okay, well, I know my truth, and I don't care what you say. Or, if you're going to challenge me and argue with me, and it's like, you have no idea what I'm going through or what I do on a day-to-day basis, and yet you're acting like you're sitting there with me, watching me, right? So just choose yourself in the fact that is being aware of yourself, being aware of the problem, being aware of your progression towards a solution. That's choosing yourself, right? I'm not going to judge anyone on their ability to quit cold turkey or anything like that. If you're able to do it, like, good for you. Like, I wish I could have done it that way, but it wasn't like that for me. Mine was a progression, right? And some people will have a faster progression. Some people will have a slower progression. Some people need to cut themselves off from people. Some people need to go and be out to be distracted with other people. It's different for everybody, but that's what it means to find your truth, right? Find your truth. You decide. Don't listen to someone else's opinion on how you will get better. It's about you figuring out how you will get better. All right. And then realizing things like food and work. And for me, I'm going to give you I'll give you a new one after I say this, but things like food, work, everyday things that everybody does, those are also addictions. These are things. These are also problems. For me, people pleasing was an addiction. I was addicted to pleasing others to my detriment, right? Like, if there's one thing I can say about that is like, I still, after I torn down everything and rebuilt myself back up on a stronger foundation, I still am a people pleaser with one change, one very important change, and which is I don't do it to my detriment. I won't people please to my destruction. I won't people please to my detriment. Simple as that. It's like I help people when I can, because that is who I am. I wasn't on this new search to figure out, well, if that's not me and that's bad, who am I? What am I doing? That is who I am. But when you start to love yourself, respect yourself, show self-care, self-reflection, and take accountability, that's what it's all about, is finding that is who you are. You just don't need to do it to your detriment, right? The new one that I just figured out about myself was, I often said, I used to say this and I didn't mean it, right? I used to say, I don't do things for praise. I don't do things for rewards. I do things out of the goodness of my heart. But then, like, if I would say something to someone, give someone advice, and then they would take it as their own later and not give me the credit, I would get fucking upset about it. I would be like, I told you that. And it's like, I'm taking power. To me, it was like, I'm taking power after I realized this. I'm taking power away from that person. It's like the cigarette thing. It's like that person is doing something good for themselves and they're proud of themselves and they're telling me about it. And I'm now fucking coming in and being like, hey, man, I told you that. That was me. That wasn't you. I gave you that advice. I'm so happy I'm talking about this right now because this is helping me, because this has come up again for me. And that's why I started this video. And now it's coming out. So I'm realizing why it's bad that I do that now that I'm talking freely about it. And this is what self-reflection is, guys. What I'm doing right now is self-reflection. This is self-reflection. I am talking to myself, in a sense. I mean, I'm talking to a camera, I'm talking to you, but I don't have any followers. I mean, but what I'm doing right now is what I do before I started this YouTube channel. What I did before I started this is I just started talking out loud and made sense of things to figure out what my issues were and what my truth is and what I feel, so that I can readjust my subconscious thoughts, so that I can act more free of this trauma. So what I'm realizing now is, like, I was taking from those people, right? Those people were making good choices and good decisions to better their lives. And rather than me saying, good for you, and just focus, my focus was on, hey man, I told you that. Why aren't you saying thank you? Why aren't you giving me credit? Why aren't you, like, and we all, like, maybe we don't all do it, like a large number of people do that, right? So after my journey, like, that was me 100% in the past. It's like I gave good advice and I would see people take it and no one would give me credit. And that was a constant reoccurrence. It's like, so that had a lot to do with my self-worth and myself and how I saw myself, right? On this journey, and what led me to where I am today, when I started showing myself love and appreciation, and that it was when I was able to stop people pleasing to my detriment, when I was able to say no to people who would ask me to do stuff for them and expect me to just jump. I wouldn't do that anymore. And people didn't like that, but I didn't care anymore, because that was part of it. It was like, I don't need your approval anymore. I used to do it because I needed your approval. Now I give myself my own approval, so I don't need you to tell me that when I'm doing something for me that I'm a piece of shit, right? And that something's wrong with me. I've been able to cut that tie. And that is when I started working on myself heavily. Like, so I went inward, and I was alone for a lot for the past couple of years. The last year specifically, I have been totally alone. Like, my interactions with people have been minuscule, like very small percentage of interactions with other human beings, because I was that heavy into working on myself, and I was that devoted to making sure it was me that was believing things. I didn't want any outside source adding to risking that. So I was able to develop that theory of, or that new way of thinking of, I can still please people when I want to please people, as long as it's not to my detriment. I can give advice and not expect, I don't need to have the praise or a financial gain or something from it. I don't need that. If I know I did something good, I know I did something good. So that was big for me to think. But what I just realized today is I'm now coming back out. I'm now working outward again. And I'm always working on myself. I'm never going to stop working on myself. But now I'm starting to interact more with people. So today specifically was a day where I commented on someone's YouTube. Someone did a YouTube video, and I commented, and it was like a very positive message, but the tone of it was rooted in negativity, which I think is a problem a lot of us have, most of us have, right? And I'm very conscious of trying to not speak in negative rooted sentences, negative rooted tones. For example, like saying like, I eat too much, right? Is it rooted in negativity? It's rooted in a problem, right? It states that I have a problem. I eat too much. It's negativity based. It's implying a problem. Whereas I could say, I want to eat less. And that's rooted in positivity. That's promoting a goal, a positive aspect. So that's the difference of the same fucking thing. I'm saying the same thing, but one, and a big train just goes, woo, baby, woo, because they agree. And I hope it does it again. That just perked Rufio up. The same thing. I'm saying the exact same. It has the same result. Both sentences. I eat too much and I want to eat less are the same thing, but one is stating that I have a problem and one is stating that I have a goal. Right? That is like, when you start picking at that, and you start picking that apart, and you see all the things that we say that are rooted in negativity, and you start to flip it. That's where you hear all these things about alchemizing, about being an alchemist, about taking the fucking dirt and turning it into gold, right? Taking all this negativity and turning it into, that's what the alchemy is. And that's what we need to do, is like, see, I could say stop talking negative, or I could say start talking more positive, right? Those are two, they have the exact same result. They have the exact same result, and yet one is rooted in negativity. One, it actually has the word negative in it, and the other one's rooted in positivity. It actually has the word positive in it, right? That's how you alchemize. So I realized today, when this person posted this video, and so a lot of what they were saying was good, and it was a positive message, but it was a lot of those rooted in negativity type sentences, right? And I commented on it to give examples of that. And now this was a day ago or a couple days ago, and then a new video today where that person came out and caught themselves on it. They said the whole thing, and I was overwhelmed hoping to hear something. Like, I realized after, it was like, I was hurt after. I was like in pain. It wasn't feeling good. I was like, what's wrong? Why am I feeling all of a sudden? Why am I feeling like shit all of a sudden? And it was like, as I was watching, I had this expectation that this person would say, I read in the comments, someone said this in the comments and it led me to this. Or I went and I started searching through to see if I had a like on my comment, if anybody responded to my comment, if that person responded, and there was nothing. And it was like, the fact that I even went searching for that told me just now that I have not gotten over that problem. The fact of the matter is, suffice it to say, you're going to hear me suffice it a lot. I acknowledged a problem I had and I worked on it internally. But I can't solve that problem, or I can't realize if I've solved that problem unless these situations continue, right? So I'm thankful that that situation happened, because like I said, I just realized now, it's like, fuck, that person did it. That person did it, and they did it fast. They came out of it. And rather than me being proud and happy that that happened, and even just saying, I could, or taking pride in the fact that I was right, and, that person found it, and thank God, and that person is, look how happy they are that they found it. I started doing the same thing. I didn't comment anything negative. Thank God I made this video first. Because a part of me was like, comment to be like, hey, I said this on my last comment, and try and take it away from her. And thank God, I was trying to say person the whole time, and so you didn't know if it was a him or her, but whatever. That would have been so selfish of me to do, to have some rude, negative comment for my own personal glorification. Right? That would mean that I need glorification from the outside. That would go against everything that I'm working on here. Come here. Come say hi to the people. Come on. It's always a good day when Rufio Dew is in the picture. Hi, my boy. Hi, my boy. Look how beautiful you are. So majestic. Okay, go. Go lay down. It wouldn't be a good video unless there was an appearance from Rufio. So yeah, I realized it, and it goes to a lot of messages that I'm saying. The more you watch, look, I'm at 38 minutes and I don't have any followers or anything like that. So, if maybe this message blows up at some point, I think it's important. If this message doesn't blow up and I blow up, I'll be saying this message again. I'll tell you that. Not if I blow up, when I blow up. When I blow up, it's when I grow up, the song that I'm singing. But I was in I still kind of feeling like lost today. I'm still feeling like I don't know what I want to do next. And I'm trying to, a whole purpose of me on this journey is to live in the moment. And see what I'm saying is I don't know what I want to do next. Is very negative. It's very negative, and that keeps you, if I say I don't know what I want to do next, I'm putting out to the world that I'm putting out to myself that I don't know what I want to do next. And then the more I say it, the more I'm pushing that narrative, the more I'm promoting that narrative. So I need to change it up, all right? A little alchemy. You're going to get to see some alchemy live in action right now. I don't know what I want to do next. I got to figure out what I'm going to do next. I got to figure out what I want to do next. I'm getting better at figuring out what I want to do next. It used to take me longer. I snap out of it quicker these days. These moments that I'm having, look how far I'm taking this alchemy. I was done after the first sentence, but I do not settle for just a little bit of gold. I love gold! If you haven't noticed. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Apparently, Back to the Future is coming off Netflix. Guys, watch it, Back to the Future. If you didn't get that reference, you could go watch Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 quick because they're taking it off Netflix. But that's what I do. That's how I alchemize, baby. I'm the alchemist, right? I just took so much negativity from that, like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. And that will keep me stuck because I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't know what I'm going to do next. But if I say, I got to figure out what I want to do next, I can build off that. I got to figure out what I want to do next. What am I feeling right now? Is this something that I can do next? See, it builds. Is there something that I need before I could do that? Is that even what I want to do? And I try not to stay, that's a very conscious way of thinking of, you know, right now, I try to do this. What do I want to do next? Do I have everything I need to do it next? If I don't, can I get everything I need to do that next? If not, then I go, what do I want to do next? Because I'm done with that. If I get to a point where I can't do it, I give it one shot. I don't spend, I used to, and you know, I still fall into it, but I used to go, what do I want to do next? Do I have everything I need to what I want to do next? Can I do that? If I'm missing something, can I get what I need to want to do next? Can I do this? Can I do that? Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. What if I try this? What if I try that? That is how you run in one spot. That's how you stay stagnant. But if I just go, what do I want to do next? I want to do this. Do I have everything I need to do that next? No. What do I need? I need this. Can I get that? No. Then I can't do that. What do I want to do next? And I go on to the next thing. So, 42 minutes. Thank you for sticking with me. There's a lot to learn from this type of thing, right? And just seeing the way I process that, I hope that, you know, and I know that this message will one day get out there. I know that there are benefits to people hearing me do shit like this because, and I'm gonna keep doing it. So if I don't have any followers, like, this just goes to show how much I believe in myself and how much I believe in this message and how much I love people and how much I want everybody to be able to work on themselves and be themselves, right? Is that I'm gonna keep doing this. If I don't see this as a way, if I get 0 views, 0 followers, 0 subscribers, 0 shares, guess what? I don't see this as a waste of 43 minutes of my life because I figured something out about myself in this 43 minutes. So as far as I'm concerned, the fact that I'm filming it and sharing it is the cherry on top that you could come and have. I don't want the cherry. I don't like the cherry on top of ice cream. I don't like mixing fruit with dessert. I don't think fruit should be a dessert thing, all right? Dessert to me is chocolate, vanilla, sprinkles, fudge. Come on, get some, oh yeah, maybe some cookie crumble on that. Just crumble that, crumble that on there. That to me is dessert, right? When you throw a cherry on top, I go like this. Who does anybody want this? So this video for me is my cherry on top that I will offer. Who wants it? I still have my dessert. Do you guys want the cherry? If you don't, that's fine. But I'm not gonna like be like, fine, I'm keeping the cherry. I mean, I don't want it. The cherry doesn't cost me anything. I got my dessert. So I'm gonna keep doing this with 0 followers, 0 viewers, 0 fucking, if you want to call it success, I'm going to call it outward success because I had so much success in this 44 minutes. I love that I figured this out. 444. 4444. 4445. 4446. 4447. 4448. 4449. 4445. No, it's only 445. See? It's all right. If you stuck around through this, if you find this, if you want to watch it, if you find the gold in the piece, maybe you're like, this guy fucking talks too much. Let me see. Let me just move around. Hey, it's not for you. Don't take my cherry. But you ain't touching my dessert. You're not, like, I won't allow anybody to be like, you see that? He's wasting his time with that. No, I'm not. I had the whole dessert. Just because you didn't take the cherry didn't mean I didn't get my dessert. You want a spoon? You want some of my dessert? I'll let you have a bite. And I don't let anybody have a bite except for Rufio. I'll let you have a bite. Just grab a spoon. You ain't sharing. I'm not sharing my spoon. Ew, germs. I probably would share a spoon. I really don't care about that either. All right. I hope there's something to learn from this. There was something for me. I hope that, it would be the cherry on top if these messages get out and they help people. Okay, I'll just end it there. The fact that I just said and then nothing came to mind, I'm going to end it there. I love you. I love me. I love you. You love me. Oh, that's a good thing that I could mention. I got to post something about this because I was on this fucking, it was like a Family Feud game. It was on a gambling website. And the question was, I got to post this, man. There's top 8 answers on the board. Okay? Top 8 answers on the board for Family Feud. The question was, what is something that parents try to teach their kids to love? It's something like this. I'm paraphrasing at this point. It's like, what is something that parents try to instill in their children when it comes to loving a certain thing? Top 8 answers on the board. Not one answer was to love themselves. Church, religion, family, friends, health, food. I don't know. I'll post it as a picture or something, and I'll write on not one answer out of top 8 answers on Family Feud. They surveyed 100 people. I think that's how many they survey in Family Feud. We surveyed 100 people, and not one of them thought that it was important to teach your kids to love yourself. Love themselves. Food for thought. Wild. So that's actually the perfect way for me to get into my send-off, which is to remember to love yourself first and foremost. Okay? Shine bright. Spark your light. Light bright. It's actually, I fucked that up. See, it's spark your light. Shine bright. Love you. Peace. Chunk up the deuce.